Look, Targ, our friends. Hey, everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and once again, it is time for another Orc Mode workout. Today was max effort press day, but a quick reminder for those of you who watch these videos down below, please remember to click like, and click like on my other videos this morning. Thank you so much. All right, yes, I threw a shirt on, and I said last week, hey, I might wear a shirt a little more. Some people liked me in a shirt, right? And it also shows that, yes, I actually look big in a shirt. Something I point out to people, too. One of the perks of when you're not worried about being shredded all the time and you just get big and strong, you look big in clothes. You look bigger in clothes. Okay? Reality. And if you don't look big in a t-shirt, you aren't big. You're just not. That's reality. Now, let's get over to the training. I decided to mess with the wide grip because I started repping wider grip bench, which for me is pinkies on the rings, which is really standard grip. And I'm like, well, let me do a training max with it, just see how it feels. And honestly, felt pretty good. Now I'm rebuilding after rehabbing my shoulders, and my close grip isn't even back up to where it was, which it was at 350. And I've always been weaker on wider grip. I always have been. But I'm like, let's work on it. Let's just build my pecs up. And that's been the game plan, and I've told you guys that's the game plan last week. You know, while I had all that power down, I had time to think, time to myself to think when I had, you know, full days with no electricity and stuff happening, to really think these things through with a clear head. And yeah, so that went pretty good. So I've already started working on it since my shoulders feel better. I've started working on my pecs, and already that's felt decent. That felt easy. I stopped there as I do not want to overdo it. Good training max. And then we'll build up. But you know what? I went up 5 pounds. Last time I did this for all pause benching 225, did 3 sets of 10. Went up 5 pounds to 230. I did 2 sets of 10, and then I did a set of 12. Means we can increase the weight again next time, right? Can increase the weight next time. All paused, trying to stay tight. And what's more interesting, my lockouts look a little better, and I think it's funny, and it's because of the wider grip. It's not that my elbows lock out more, it's just they look more locked out with a wider grip. Just a funny point there. Just my skeletal structure. But the lockouts all felt good. Even the lockout wasn't really grindy on that one. So I think with a wider grip, my triceps really might not be the weakness that I think they are. I'm going to keep hammering on them. I'm going to keep working them. We're going to do a lot of tricep work. But I think at this point in the game, pecs are going to take a higher priority. We're still going to train front delts, you know, but we're getting that with all this. But then we have the incline for that. If I get really good at incline, that'll bring up upper chest and front delts. Incline is one of the best front delt exercises you can possibly do. So, you guys will see as we go what we added in for the week. Pecs, 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 and then obviously delts and triceps. A lot of upper back. All those things are getting trained. But I'm going to have a slight bias towards pecs. Right? I need bigger, thicker pecs. And again, I'll maximize my tricep development too. I'm making sure that triceps are, you know, getting a lot of volume on the back end of this, but I'm being specific. I'm not just doing random silly stuff for them, which is what a lot of people will do even for powerlifting purposes. Well, let's hit the triceps from every angle. No, let's get in and really do some quality work. We're getting all this other pressing. Triceps are getting work. Let's make sure that we work the elements of them that might be undertrained. But back over to the benching. It went well. This went well. It was pretty much pain-free, which is new to me because benching has always hurt. But I think it goes to show that me putting that extra focus, the extra focus on getting tight, stacking my wrist, because that's one of the things I see that even in clients, by the way. People who aren't stacking their wrist properly tend to get a lot of shoulder pain from benching. Okay, they get a lot of shoulder pain. And if you look at the biomechanics, we know why. We know why. But a lot of times my pecs hurt. But since I've started doing a little more pec work and using things like dips and incline to start building the pec up more, I noticed they didn't have the same discomfort I've normally been getting. And I noticed that last week too. Okay. And it felt relatively good on my shoulders. I mean, it felt some irritation in the shoulder, but I think that's normal. It wasn't painful. A thing I need to note, my low back hurt today. It didn't hurt all weekend. I had a really intense deadlift session and everything on Friday. I had no DOMs from it this weekend. My back felt great. I woke up with some low back pain today. What I noticed, though, it only bothered me on the pressing movements and getting up and down off the bench. When I did the rows, I didn't feel anything, which tells me it's not related to my pulling. I think because I did heavier than normal band crunches yesterday, maybe it irritated my back slightly. I don't know. I'm going to pay attention to it throughout the day, though, because tomorrow is a lower body day. So I need to know what's going on with it. But I noticed on all the rowing, I didn't feel anything. And this is bent over. There's stress on that back. So it's not pulling related. It's when I crunch. When I do any sort of crunch, getting off the bench was really uncomfortable. And it almost feels like DOMS. It really feels like DOMS. It's not sharp pain. It feels like really intense DOMS. So I'm not sure what happened with that, other than, again, maybe the band crunches yesterday. I did some pretty high reps with some pretty heavy band tension. Because, again, it shouldn't be from the Friday training related. I didn't feel anything all weekend. It didn't start till Monday morning. 72 hours later, that's usually, I don't get DOMS ever 72 hours. It's usually 24 for me. And it's not to say that I didn't do some serious volume for my back on that day. I did. But it's just interesting. But the rows went well. That was 245. Then I decided, let's go ahead and just do chest dips. So by chest dips, I lean forward more. And when you lean forward more, your lockout at the top is going to look different. It's not going to be fully locked out. And that's okay because my elbows don't fully lock anyways. And I'm doing this for triceps because I do feel a lot of tricep. But this is really to build my low chest and my triceps. So I'm getting that forward lean, and I'm going down as deep as what is comfortable for me. You know, a lot of times people will say, oh, you should get your shoulders super low. Well, that's people who get others hurt. It's like the same people who I listened to on pull-ups and things is the reason I got a shoulder impingement. Doing too much volume and trying to stretch all the way to the bottom. It impinged my shoulder. Okay? That is the reason we had all these problems this year. Me listening to other people, letting other people's opinions influence me in things like my video comments, of all things. And I should know better than that at this point in the game, to just ignore clowns in the comments. I really should. I should know better than that. But nope. No, you should go to a dead hang. You got to get that full stretch. And Dr. Mike Israel, that's one reason. I'm not going to get into that now. That's one reason I may not be super keen on Mike, because he was saying that stuff publicly about pull-ups and stuff, and I started listening. You combine that with the comments, and what happened? I impinged my shoulder. Okay. I don't think it's safe to go to a full range of motion on a pull-up or chin-up. I'm not going to be doing them anymore anyways, but that's besides the point. Again, ended up hurting me. So I don't care what people say about, oh, you should be going deeper. I'm going deep enough to get a deep stretch reflex on my pecs. And when I feel my pecs get a stretch reflex, I come back up. I'm doing it to build big pecs and to put some extra meat on my triceps. Building that lower half of my chest. That's it. And it does that. I get that deep stretch reflex. But I had to stop there today because I benched first. I couldn't go beyond 10 reps with that weight. That was actually pretty challenging sets. The third set, I didn't have more reps in the tank. Then we did the axle bar rows. Went up 10 pounds on these today, working on grip. What I noticed, the grip is doing better on these. I ended up doing, on the fifth set, I did 12 instead of 10. Like, I still felt like I had reps in the tank each time. My grip is really the limit here. But, like, I can go up another 10 pounds next workout. I feel like I can increase this to 200. Let's set a goal here. Let's set a goal. Let's get to 220. Now, people say, why not 225? Well, because then I have to add smaller plates. This bar has a different weight. It's not divisible by 5. It's a 30-pound bar, not a 45. So 220. Let's aim for 220 for 10s. And I think my grip will be in a good spot. Now, I still feel my back and rear delts and everything work on this. But the whole idea, that's why I do the heavier rows first where the grip isn't the limit, to really hammer that area so that it has gotten a lot of quality work done. This is falling back into just fatigue off the back end of it. It's still working it, but I'm really using this to hammer the grip. It's grip training while continuing to get extra back work. But it really is just supplemental back work. But again, my strategy here has been use those heavy rows first. Since my grip is the limiting factor with the axle bar, that's why we use the axle bar. Let's make sure that I've hit the lats and everything in the back really hard first before we do this. And by doing more volume with it, we become somewhat okay. And that's one of the other things that we do note that I will point out in the research. And that's why when people say, well, you could do 10 by 10 with this percentage and get growth from it, even though a lot of it's junk volume, that's true, but you got to do 10 sets. That's kind of that's why there's a problem with it. You could just do 3 sets and get the same hypertrophy with more weight, the same reps. But we're coming to this. This is on the back end. I've already done quality work. It's already fatigued those areas probably enough to cause significant muscle growth. But then if we do 5 full sets of this, we're getting a hell of a lot of grip work, working towards my grip specialization goal, while still giving me some supplemental back work, especially those rear delts and stuff. They need all that, which we still hit those again at the end. We make sure that we finish them at the very end of the workout. That's why I do the rear delt flies, right? So that's the strategy I'm using for now. And my grip feels like it's improving. I'm noticing even the axle bar work here is getting easier. Like, again, I know I can increase weight again. Now, here's what I'm going to say. Incline. This was hard as hell today. I bumped it 5 pounds, but I've been doing it as a second press. I did bench and dips first. My God, this was hard. You know, had I done this as a second lift, I don't think this would have been too bad. I probably could have squeezed out a couple more reps. As a third press, not even counting the maxing, but that was only a training max, really. As a third press, this was tough today. This was tough today. And I felt a lot of stress in my shoulders. Again, let's come over and say stress. A lot of front delt work. It wasn't painful, but it wasn't comfortable either. Let's put it that way. It's not like there was any sharp pains in my shoulders, but my shoulders definitely were uncomfortable on this today. And I think it's because of all the other pressing first. But, you know, again, we need some discomfort for muscle growth purposes. But I didn't feel like I was doing any injury after the rehabbing and everything. It didn't feel like, oh, this is damaging my shoulders. But I could definitely tell that my shoulders were like, this is not the most comfortable thing for us. But the strain of it was hard. Like, even doing just 170 for 10 pause reps, these were very, very hard. The last rep felt like a grinder each time. Maybe on camera it won't look like that, but when I did them, I felt like I don't think I can do another rep. So as a third press, man, this is tough. But you know what? We need all this work. But I really need to bring up those areas. If I want my bench to go up, particularly to be able to do a wider grip, pecs have to come up. And I need it to pass what my closed grip was, right? We got to a 350 closed grip twice before the shoulder had become an issue from pull-ups each time. And kind of stop there. I need this wide grip to pass that. I need to bench 405. Here in my 40s, before I turn 50, I have to get to a 405 bench. It has to happen. And the only way that's going to happen is to bring up my chest and my triceps. Okay. But these inclines, these were hard today. And again, it's because of so much volume first. Because I've already done 6 hard sets for chest. So I got them done. But I'm just making the note that when I do it as a third press instead of a second, because then I was overhead pressing. But I don't feel like I need the overhead when I have the incline in here. I'm doing a fairly steep incline, 45 degrees. Right? You guys will notice me trying to get up again. It's that back feeling really, really weird when I get up off the bench each time. And it didn't bother me on rowing. And that's the fascinating part. But just making a note, the incline was challenging. Then I said, okay, look, I feel like my triceps are just blasting through the lockouts on a lot of these movements, and they're not really getting worked as hard as I'd like. So on the JM presses, let's do chains. Boy, did that do the trick. That 40 pounds of chains, now a lot of it's still on the bar. That amount of contrast weight where it unloads at the bottom and then I have to lock that hammered my triceps. It did exactly what I wanted. I wanted to have my triceps get hit in a way that I'm not hitting them on the other pressing to make sure that my lockouts are strong. Okay? Making sure those lockouts are strong. Because that's historically been my weak link, but because I'm a close grip presser usually. But that did it. I mean, the triceps got lit, particularly that whole medial head. And even the long head, right? I feel a lot of lateral head when I do dips. This today Felt the medial all the way to the long head on that whole inside of the arm. Everything from the elbow up to the armpit on the inside of the arm. So both of those heads, they felt hammered from doing this, doing it correctly, a correct JM press with chains. Yep. Yep. We got the desired response there. I think this is going to be a mainstay. And I have a lot of my lifters doing with bands and chains. It's not uncommon for my coaching to do that. So again, using the tools that I throw some of my lifters at my lifters, because I have lifters who outbench me, right? I don't have people who out squat or out pull me. I have clients who outbench me. And it's not just one of them at this point. It's clients. So this is one of the tools I have them use. Why not use it myself, right? Using accommodating resistance on these JM presses. And it works. I don't normally do that, even though I prescribe it. But it certainly works for my lifters, and now that I'm doing it and feeling it, I can see why it works so well. Because again, we're working the other end of that strength curve. We're making sure that lockout is working super hard while still getting that good stretch on the tricep down there, right? And yeah, I think we have a winner. And bands should be the same way in reverse bands. But I thought I'd just do the change for now. And I can always rotate it up. We need some variation. All right, so I'm doing all overhand. I'm like, let's mess with some strict curls. And I mean the true strict curl, to where we're up against the wall, right? Do what they would do in a strict curl contest. And I started light today. Just did 60 pounds for 12s. But yes, we belt up. We use wrist straps, just like they allow in comp, right? And that's the idea. Because again, I'm getting all that overhand work for all the rowing. So if we want a little more bicep, I think this is a winner too. And, you know, it's a competition lift. Nothing wrong with getting strong at it, just to make sure my biceps are getting that growth. And then as you guys see, I just kind of dropped the wrist reps off and flipped the camera over, because I kind of supersetted these back and forth. And it's done for time purposes. If anyone's like, oh, that's body, it's not body building, it's because my workout gets really, really, really long. And this trims off some time at the end for my smaller single joint movements, or just single joint movements. Like, we don't need a lot of recovery. Okay. So I did these to failure. I will make a note. My shoulders have not been clicking doing these. They clicked a little bit today on them. And I thought that was interesting. That had gone away. But I wonder if it's because, again, that long break. It's 4 days apart, because I'm only doing these. I had been doing this stuff every day. I'm only doing them now on my upper body days, my 2 upper body days, just to make sure we get sufficient volume for the rear delts. So maybe that 4 days of not doing any rear delt work, I don't know, maybe the movement pattern got a little stale. But it's one of the things I've noted, that, you know, some of these movements for the shoulders, if I'm not doing them, when I start doing them, they cause clicking, and then it goes away. It's just a minor side note today, and it wasn't painful in any way, but it was there. It was there. And maybe it'll go away. I'll assess it when we get to the next workout, because if it's not there at 3 days apart, when we do Thursday, but then it comes back on a Monday, it's just that extra day. And my solution there literally might be to just do one really high rep set of these with plates on the weekend. That might be a solution I have to do. And if that resolves the issue, then hey, great. But again, we supersetted these all the way through. And I got about 16 to 17 reps with these to failure. And again, I did 12s with the strict curls, and tried to get a slower eccentric on the last rep or two on the strict curls, just because I'm not quite getting to failure. But these are hard, and it's kind of hard to tell when you're getting to failure. And I don't want to take a bunch of sets to failure with this much volume. I want to get real close. We may do that more as we get the movement down, because I need to get stronger at it. But again, it's a very, very good bicep movement to throw in, and it matches with what I'm doing with the other lifts, right? Because I was doing hammer curls and I was doing more underhand grip stuff, but now that I'm doing all this overhand rowing, and, you know, 8 sets every upper workout, so 16 sets a week, it's like, well, we might need some supine work, and why not do the strict curl? I mean, I like cheat curls and stuff too, but again, we're getting no real other fatigue anywhere else, because I get so much back fatigue and things already, the other work, that I'm not worried about it here. I'm literally just trying to make sure my biceps get some extra work. So, again, I like it. I think strict curls can be fun. They can be good exercise. And again, if I ever want to compete in it one day, it wouldn't be bad to practice it and build up the muscle using that variation. Not saying that's all I'm going to do, but I've done it before in the past. And again, final set of reverse flies. And pretty much a good workout. I was happy with today's workout overall. Very happy with it. Wish the inclines didn't feel that hard, but that's going to happen that deep into the training session. Otherwise, happy with it. I think we're going to see where we're going to go with the wider grip benching moving forward. But I think if I just keep bringing my pecs up and keep my shoulder health there, I think it's going to go really, really well. I hope so. But we'll find out. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative. And I will talk to you guys next time.